All right, welcome everyone. I'm Yael Shiloh. I'm the program director and part of our residency leadership panel. On the panel, we also have Dr. Sanyana Hunter, which is here with us, and Dr. Jordan Roman Fox. All of us and all of the faculty and residents are very happy to have you join our open house. I want to go over our plan for this open house, just so that kind of you can know what's ahead, and then we're going to start. So we're going to start with our residency video, which is 6 minutes. We think it kind of is a good opening to introduce our program. Then we're going to go for a few minutes for the faculty to introduce themselves and introduce their practice and their expertise. And from there, we're going to go to questions. Now, if you can try to keep these questions for the faculty, because this will be about half an hour. And the next half an hour, all the faculty will step off and you'll have time to spend with the residents. So if you have questions for residents, you can you'll have a lot of opportunities to go over this afterwards.
Let me go ahead and pull the video.
Yes, thank you. Nate, we cannot hear.
We're looking for innovators. Child neurology is a challenging and wonderful career field built for thinkers, built for dynamic individuals, and UNC really embodies that vision where you see each of our staff have what it takes to lead their field and bring on exactly what is needed for their patients here and use those new and innovative tools and harness them for our patients' good. And those are the residents that come because they see that and they embody that themselves here.
It's in a very pleasant, kind, collaborative environment where people can choose their path, choose what interests them, and kind of take it with mentors that are here to help everyone to find what they like to do and develop in that field.
I did my residency here. I left for fellowship. Then I'm back here as an assistant professor. What occurred to me during my time away and during the job search was the uniqueness of the program here. I didn't realize how specialized the training is. At UNC, the focus really is on the trainees. Trainees are not used as a stopgap to complete work or to fulfill projects for attendees. And so that time can really be afforded to the trainees to shape their education the way that each trainee sees fit. We really try to value that they learn to become independent providers in the middle of their training, not just at the end of it. And we value asking them to take the lead in trying to do the research that's needed to get the patients what they need.
So UNC attracts really great people, and the kind of want to care for all the children of North Carolina, that want to make sure that they all get great care. The kind of people that I want to work with and learn from. So that's what attracted me here for residency, and that's what has kept me here now.
One of the unique things about UNC is that we're the hospital for the entire state. So we see a very diverse population. We have patients come from all 100 counties of the state, regardless of their ability to pay. We see all patients and treat them equally. We strive to treat all patients equally, and that is one of the missions of the hospital and the missions of our program.
A lot of the things that we have to train for are rare diseases. We see patients from this huge area And so we have the opportunity for seeing those 1 in a million cases that we need to learn about because we're pulling from such a large population.
You see such a variety, and all the attendings, they help you adapt to each situation, because it's kind of overwhelming at first. You're like, okay, this is ICU, then this is this patient, this is this patient. But I think the attendings do a really good job kind of, getting you to just focus and zone in on what you really need to pay attention to.
What I hope to do for the Department of Neurology at UNC, what the base of my vision is to try to increase the ability of this department to serve the people of North Carolina with their needs for neurology care.
I have a younger sister with Down syndrome, and when I was 11, she was 9 at the time. She was going through these periods where she was having kind of seizure-like activity, and to see your little sister go through that was a really scary thing. So she had EEGs, MRIs done, and I'm really grateful for it now because I sat in that room with that pediatric neurologist, and I don't know if he could tell how scared I was or something in him told him to show me the MRI, show me the EEG, explain what was going on. And that really meant a lot to me being in that position and seeing everything that my sister went through. And so as I thought about it, first of all, that was the first time I'd ever seen an image of the brain, and I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. But on top of that, I wanted to be able to give back and do that for families, be that guidance, be that reassurance for families that were going through such a hard time.
They do rotate at our outlying hospitals at Wake Med in Raleigh and Moses Cone in Greensboro as well. So aren't just at the tertiary care center, but see what a child neurology practice can be like at a community hospital, not just at the academic center. And I think that gives them important perspective of what their role can be and what their career can be in the future.
I always felt like there was someone I could reach out to for everything, whether it's other residents, whether it's the faculty or our coordinators, both on the ped side and the neurology side are fantastic.
Attendings have been super happy to take their time to walk through what's going on, so I can call up anybody from any team and they'll take a few minutes, and if I say I don't know what this diagnosis means, they'll help to explain it to me. If I don't know how to interpret something from radiology, they're happy to walk me through it.
There's no levels, there's no verticality. It's a very horizontal style of training and a very horizontal style of providing patient care.
By the time you finish your 2 years in pediatrics, you're such a skilled clinician. You have the confidence that you know how to do things, you know how to approach things.
Before we decided where we wanted to go for residency, my wife and I, we knew that we wanted to be around people that felt a lot more like family and a lot less like colleagues. When I was driving home from interview day, and I just realized I wanted to spend more time here. I don't know if I have a great way to articulate that feeling, but it just felt like I missed the program already and I hadn't even been a part of it.
We do a lot of things together. Like we hang out. We're a tight knit group. Every year we have a picnic at Dr. Shiloh's house, and that's always fun. We go and bring our kids, go swimming at her house, and all the attendings come. So you get to meet all the attendings and get introduced to them and hang out with them, get to know them.
Whenever I first started my first year, I really didn't know anybody here, but Caitlin always would invite me to things, invite me to her house. She was always very nice to make me feel included.
Thank you for your interest. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our program to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and we'll put you in touch with residents or with faculty, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Right. Thank you. So you met some of us. So I'm Yael Shiloh, like I've presented myself. I'm the program director. I started my training in Israel. I'm originally from Israel. Then about 15 years ago, I moved to North Carolina and did my child neurology and epilepsy training at UNC. My practice and my main interest in clinical practice is epilepsy and epilepsy genetics. And as program director, I can say that I always feel like it's the easiest job to do with the strengths of our amazing faculty. and you'll hear a little bit from each one of them. And then our residents that are always very positive, trying to learn, doing amazing job. So I always feel like as program director, I have the easiest job, just putting together all of these forces and really offering a wonderful training opportunity. I'll hand over. It's a little hard to know. We couldn't pin all of the faculty to the top of the page, but maybe we'll let Dr. Borwinkle, our division chief, is she on the, she might have had to step off. All right. Oh, yeah, I see Dr. Borwinkle. So if you want to introduce yourself.
How's that?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome everyone, and so happy for your interest in our program. I think that it's an exciting place to come, and we're thrilled to have you on tonight. And, you know, I can't imagine what it's like to try to pick a residency program based on, you know, a virtual platform. But I think what you can see from the attendance here, that we are thrilled to have wonderful candidates come and evaluate us and take a look at this fantastic program. So I myself came here because of how awesome the team is, and joined in the last year, coming from training at Baylor and then leading the neurocritical care team over at Phoenix Children's, and bringing those tools and starting a new pediatric neurocritical care service here, which has been so exciting. And getting to know the team and seeing all the wonderful clinical initiatives and research that's going on, and getting to work with all the fantastic residents here. So look forward to dialoguing more with you guys.
Dr. Hunter, do you want to go ahead?
Sure, I'll go next. I'm Sienna Hunter. I did my training mostly at UNC. UNC just keeps pulling me back, and also at Duke. And I got a PhD before coming into medicine and biochemistry, and then came here for child neurology, and am now a clinical neurophysiologist. And I spend my time both in the clinical world and research world focusing on genetic epilepsies. I have the interest in genetic epilepsies, and we have the initiative along with Dr. Shiloh, and then do epilepsy research along with Dr. Young. People keep asking me what brings me back. I've been to several institutions, including doing postdocs at Yale and NIH, and then I mentioned Duke. And it's just the rigor here, the standard of excellence that is also met with a collegial atmosphere and just a very collaborative spirit that brings me back to UNC over and over again. And I'm excited to see everybody and your interest in UNC. It is a ripe environment for training, and a lot of people who will be very eager to educate you and train you as you move along in whatever your goals and interests are.
Yeah, Dr. Roman Fox, can you go next?
Sure, sounds good. So I'm Jordan Broman Folks. Similar to Dr. Hunter, I've done most of my training at UNC. I went to undergrad here. I came back for residency. I left for a short period of time for a job, and then I realized that UNC is the place that I'm supposed to be. So I'm back, and I'm extremely happy to be back. And I do mostly clinical work. I'm part of the neurocritical care team, and my main interest is in neonatal neurology. I'm also part of the residency leadership panel. I'm excited to see all of y'all, and
if there's ever anything that I can do for any of you, I'm sure that there's a way to get our email addresses. Feel free to send questions or requests. I'm sure that I speak for all of us when I say that we'll be happy to respond and help you.
Dr. Fan, you want to go next?
Yes, yeah, welcome to your, the candidates. I have my medical training from China many years ago, and I had most of my residency at UNC Chapel Hill. I just realized actually I've worked here long enough. I received this 15 years certificate last month, so you know, I've been here for very long. I find actually working with the residents are most rewarding, one of the most rewarding experience I have had. And, you know, it's actually really bi-directional. I learn a lot from our residents. It's just they keep me think about, you know, different things and different aspects. I would say I really enjoy working with our residents. They just bring different things to me. Welcome to the program. I think this is an amazing program. That's why I've been here for this very long, because you know, my colleagues are not only just talented, they are just great and nice people.
Dr. Sejas, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hello. My name is Diana Sejas. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm obviously one of the faculty members here at UNC. I'm from Rougemont, North Carolina, which is about 40 minutes from UNC. But I went to medical school at Howard University College of Medicine, then trained at Tulane for my pediatric, general pediatrics program, and then went to the University of Chicago for my training in child neurology. And I ended up coming back down here. So my particular interest is in neurodevelopment, and ended up coming here to UNC because at first, when I was looking for a job, I just knew that I wanted to be close to home as possible. And really just kind of always had this idea in my head, no matter where I went, that at some point I was going to want to go home and basically take care of the children who were like the kids that I grew up with. So I wanted to try to see if I could find that place, you know, obviously kind of looked around in Virginia and looked around even in South Carolina, although that was a little bit far. But when I had my interview day here, I mean, I was so, I think, struck by the people. I remember meeting some of the people here in this room very clearly on my first kind of trip, and everybody was so kind and so welcoming. I also knew that what I wanted to be able to do was go to a place where I'd be able to do some health services research, and UNC has a really strong history of doing wonderful health services research. My particular interests are around healthcare transition, so improving the quality of care that we as pediatric neurologists provide to children and adolescents as they move from our healthcare system into the adult world, and also health equity, particularly as it relates to serving underserved populations and trying to make sure that we're providing great care to Black and Brown and Indigenous and also other minoritized populations here in North Carolina. So I was looking for that. I was looking for great people. I was looking for an opportunity for me to do neurology. And like I said, I'm also a neurodevelopmentalist. So I wanted to go somewhere where I'd be able to work with primarily children with autism spectrum conditions and also medical complexity and neurological complexity. And I was able to find that here at UNC as well. I'm also duly appointed, I guess if you can call it that, at the Carolina Institute for Developmental Disabilities, which is one of our centers here at UNC that focuses on education, research, and training, all centered on neurodevelopmental disabilities across the lifespan. So I've really been able to do my research here, clinical work, advocacy work. I do a lot of advocacy in disability spaces, and it's just been, it was a wonderful opportunity. How could I say no? So now I'm here. And I'm live tweeting for any of you who are missing anything that we're saying. I'm sure that it's probably hard to take notes. So I'll turn it back over to everyone else.
Thank you. Dr. Capel, do you want to take over?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jamie Capel. I'm originally from way northern New York State. I did my medical education at Albany Medical College and in New York. And then I did my residency and fellowship at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. So I did my combined training in neurodevelopmental disabilities when the program was still fairly new. I stayed on for about 7 years as faculty at Cincinnati Children's and then came to UNC in 2020, right when everything was shut down during the pandemic, which was interesting. But I was really excited to come here for some really good research and leadership opportunities. I, like Diana, am duly appointed at the Carolina Institute for Developmental Disabilities. Since coming here, I've co-founded and am the co-director of the CIDD clinical trial program. So my interest is in neurodevelopmental disabilities across the lifespan, and many of our neurogenetic conditions that have neurodevelopmental implications are in the midst of different gene-based therapies and clinical trials to improve symptoms and modify disease. So I'm actually leading several clinical trials in different neurodevelopmental conditions like Angelman syndrome and tuberous sclerosis and Fragile X syndrome. And apart from that, I also clinically see many children and adults with neurodevelopmental and neurobehavioral difficulties.
Dr. Trout, do you want to take over?
Sure. I'm Stephen Trout. I am originally from Atlanta, went to Emory for medical school, had a little bit of a roundabout path to being a child neurologist. I went into general pediatrics residency in Virginia, decided there I did not want to do general pediatrics and instead decided I wanted to do child neurology. Finished residency there, was an attending in a hospital for a year, did child neurology residency at Duke, and then came here after that. It was a pretty easy call after my interview. It was basically, I wanted to be in a place where I could ask anybody anything at any time whenever I had any sort of questions, and definitely found that experience since I've been here. My clinical interest and research interest is in Tourette syndrome and tic disorders. I founded a center here. We're hoping to apply to be a nationally recognized center of excellence in the next couple of years. I have a special place in my heart for the explosion of atypical tics in the last couple of years. Y'all have seen those in training. I actually have a paper that should be published in the next couple of weeks about that. But like I said, I came here for a collaborative environment, a place I could figure out what it was I wanted to do, and easily found that.
Thank you. Dr. Young, do you want to go next?
Sure. The doctor. Hi, I'm Jojo Young. I'm a pediatric epileptologist. I'm the director of the Pediatric Epilepsy Monitoring Unit and lead the Pediatric Epilepsy Surgery Program. I am from California, mostly Southern California, and I trained in Northern California. My daughter is here, Zoe. She's looking at a primer for EEG. So I went to UC San Francisco and Stanford for training and moved here to join this group. I am very passionate about training epilepsy from all modalities. It affects not just the kids in terms of seizures, but learning in school and also the families and siblings. So best part of my day is when I see a kid that's, seizure free, either from medications or from surgery. But that's what really brings me a lot of joy in what we do, and also providing care for marginalized patients who also happen to have epilepsy. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. And I think last, Dr. Lee.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm really happy to see so many young people interested in child neurology because it is a field that is quite small. And so we need a lot of people who want to come into it with all the energy that young people have. I'm one of the clinical neurophysiologists, and kind of like Dr. Trow, is a little bit of a route to getting to child neurology because I actually trained in pediatrics at UNC, and then I practiced in Greensboro for 13 years, and then came to child neurology training in my mid-40s, and then worked out in Winston-Salem for about a decade, and then came back. So I feel like the true boomerang. Just keep coming back to UNC. I'm here just like everyone else because of the camaraderie, the research, the clinical care, and the mission, which is to care for the children of North Carolina. So I kind of have to reiterate what everybody else has said. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to learn. And I, like Dr. Fan was saying, I learn from all the residents, and it's bi-directional. So welcome.
And it looks like Dr. Shiloh, that Dr. Greenwood joined the call too, if he has anything that he wants to add in.
Oh, thank you. Dr. Greenwood, would you like to introduce yourself?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, we were just doing introduction. Sorry, I just Nate mentioned that you
I'm Bob Greenwood, and I've been with the division for 47 years, I think. And it's grown and it's getting bigger all of the time. We're doing more things that are really exciting, and we have lots of research that's going on, and we have a lot of very smart young people as our faculty. I think that everyone would enjoy the place. We have a beautiful place that's easy to live in, that has a wonderful educational system that's actually undergraduate as well as high school. And we have lakes and mountains nearby, even the ocean. So it's pretty hard to beat. I've really enjoyed being here. I came because I thought it was the best thing for my family. I'm certainly happy I did. Huh? This is me. I'm actually sitting in a play. We actually have plays here too. I'll show you. This is a set of the play, and the play is Blues from Alabama Sky. So it took me 5 minutes to get here. That's the way it is in this town. We have Carolina Performing Arts, which is maybe 10 minutes away. So I hope that you can look at our program. Thanks for letting me talk to you.
Thank you. Enjoy the play. We kind of took a little longer for this part. I do want you guys to have the opportunity to ask questions. So we'll have the faculty stay for a few more minutes if people have questions to ask.
Hi, I did have a question. I'm Morgan. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I'm really interested in medical education. So you guys mentioned a lot of like really enjoying the teaching aspect. And I was wondering if there was any formal programs that you guys had tracks or anything like that for med ed?
Yeah, great question. So both during the pediatric years and during the child neurology years, there are multiple opportunities to participate in education for medical students, for residents. Maybe I'll let Nate take introduce some of the programs that he was involved with to expand on that.
Hey everybody, I'm Nate Wooden, one of the child neurology residents, 5th year. Yes, there are 2 particular programs that are offered to all trainees. One is targeted towards residents, and then one is more targeted towards fellows. I participated, actually it's fellows and faculty, and I participated last year as a 4th year in the fellows and faculty program, because during your child neurology training, you're more so a fellow. And that program consisted of lectures every 3 to 4 weeks by various faculty throughout the hospital, or even faculty that were from other institutions that had strong interest in medical education. And each one of those talks centered around different areas, such as how to give a good brief talk, how to create a educational project, how to go through the steps of getting approved through an IRB board, what you should be looking for when doing a research journal. And we even had talks by the medicine chair, who's been here a long time, about if you're looking for an academic job, here's the things that you should ask, and also that in academic places looking at when hiring someone into those positions. And so even getting a little, not like direct interview training, but even getting some like coaching up on how to interview for academic positions. And then there was like a book club component of that, talking about learning as well. And then my wife, a graduate of the Med Peds program here, and she actually went through the resident version, and it was less heavy on the research component, but more heavy on how to review medical literature, and then also how to give like good quick talks to learners, and also how to give feedback and also receive feedback as an educator. So those things are in place and can provide good training opportunities outside of just your individual training program.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions before we move to the resident?
Yes.
Also, there's a question in the never mind, it looks like it's you that asked that. Sorry. Go.
Yeah, Mary, look.
Yeah, hello, my name is Mary. I'm a 4th year student from OU, University of Oklahoma. I was just curious to know, how busy is your primary team and consult team, and like the average number of patients on the team list?
So that's a great question. We're very busy. And recently, since Dr. Bowinkle joined, for the past about 6 months, I believe, we actually divide to 2 inpatient teams. One of them is the critical care team that runs with the critical care attending, and one is the floor consults and emergency room consults. It's hard to, there's some variation, but I would say maybe an average of about 6 to 10 on each one of these services. Do other people feel that this is a fair number?
So, yeah, I would say that's pretty close, that since we split the services, that any one resident is usually assigned to one team or the other for the primary rounds of the day, so that you're not responsible for both the neurocritical care and the floor patients or the general consult patients. So that's helped a lot. The other thing that's coming on pretty quickly is we'll have a nurse call service during a swing shift starting so for a portion of the day, so that can help offset the busyness of the call service. So that the first line calls will go to this nurse line, and then they'll triage those to the doctor depending on what the issue is. So that kind of cut back on some of the busy work, I feel like. And certainly during the day, a lot of the mommy calls, I'll say, are coming to our clinic for refills and such, and have a triage service for that, so that they're not all being filled directly by the resident. So there's a high yield of learning going on the inpatient side, so that the residents are taking direct care of the patients and really having time to get that done. And then of course, during the day, the educational hour is protected at the noon time, so the residents can have those educational opportunities available to them, which certainly helps with board studying and getting up to date on the variety of questions that they'll be receiving. So I think it's a well populated service, but it's well within, I would say, what a good tertiary service should have, and with a balance of learning, patient care, and educational research opportunities. So time for all of that. I hope that answered your question. If you had like a different nuance to it, I'm happy to direct it.
You answered my question. Thank you.
Yeah. Certainly when we get off the phone, you can ask our residents, how has it felt? There has been a shift since July, even of having a third resident on to help with the call difference. So there's been a lot of wonderful changes just recently.
Yeah, both the child neurology and the adult neurology programs are growing, which allows us to have more residents covering the service and dividing the call, so that there's less days of call during a week, but the residents can kind of run through the specific how their day goes. Any other questions before we let you guys speak with the residents? All right. Thank you, everyone. First, for your interest in child neurology. Our field is in great need of people. We're all of us have more needs of patients asking for care than us child neurologists. So thank you for choosing this field, and I hope that you can learn more about our program and figure if this may be a good spot for you. See you.